Alrighty, this is Derek with 100 Interviews. We are here with Sarah Cooley, who is one of my friends that I met on TalkBox. You are you are with What's It All About?
Right.
Right. I got that right. We were having problems with that. It's a tongue twister.
It is.
Why don't you tell us a little bit, Sarah, what that's all about?
Well, What's It All About is a show that covers online sites, services, tools, and communities that help people use the internet better, faster, and smarter.
What does that really mean?
The purpose behind it was I have tons of friends, family, coworkers, people I meet all the time who have heard about Web 2.0 or have heard about social media, have heard about Twitter, have heard about all these different communities, and might see it sometimes on the news. Twitter's been on the news a lot lately, and just don't know what it's all about.
It's all about.
So people were always asking me, well, what's up with that? What's the deal with Twitter? What's the deal with all this stuff? And the thing is that no matter what your personal goal is, whether your personal goal is just to meet people online, whether you just do schoolwork online, maybe you're an educator, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're just interested in getting involved in a different community, there are online tools for you that you might not know about that can probably help you do what you want to do online better and probably easier and with better results. So that's the kind of goal, that's the criteria we try to fit all the sites into before we say, yeah, they can be at the show. So we're here at South by Southwest and we're going to interview a bunch of companies. And
so you're doing a little bit of evaluation right now.
Well, we've gotten a bunch of pitches actually. We did a little video that we were going to be at South by Southwest, and so everybody that we hear back from, we need to make sure that they fit into the category, not just that they want to be covered on a web show.
Oh, I hear you.
So
you and I were talking a little bit before about this term of social media expert, and I've talked to some various people, and everyone that I have talked to really kind of despises that term. And I want to get your feelings on that and kind of where you see yourself kind of mixing it up within the social media arena.
Well, I think social media experts, I think when we all see them on Twitter, they have the little thing off to the side on their Twitter page and they're wearing a suit or something, and most of them probably, not to stereotype or anything or insult anyone, they probably came from the marketing world, and they have they put social media into a box, and it is a category for them, and it's a set of tools, and that's really all it is, and that's all it's good for. I usually refer to myself as a social media enthusiast, and because I just started doing all this because it was what I loved to do, and now more and more I really consider myself a social media advocate, because social media is something that's always changing, and you have to believe in it, really. You have to believe that even though, Twitter might be nothing in 5 years, there's going to be something, social media is going to evolve into something that's going to probably change all of our lives in one way or another.
So you really feel that social media is here to stay?
Oh, absolutely. I also think it's important for people to just figure out what they love to do and just do it. And I, unfortunately, love to do social media. It puts me in a hard category for, with all the social media experts and people that I would rather not be associated with. But I think it's important for companies to know that if you don't know how to use social media, there are people that can help you, and they're most likely not called social media experts.
Right. Well, the kind of the second part of that is I really wanted to get some insight, because I think a lot of those social media experts, but even the ones that we think are social media experts, in our arena, they really talk about social media from maybe the 50,000-foot level. They give you the overview of what social media is and how it works. But what I really want to understand is how is Sarah Cooley using it in her life from a friend standpoint, from a family standpoint, and maybe from a business standpoint.
Well, I think the first thing was when I only started in social media like a year ago. Around South by Southwest last year, I was just starting to watch. I'd been watching some of my favorite podcasts for a couple of months. I think a big one for me was I watched Callie Lewis on Geek Brief TV, and I
love Callie Lewis.
I was like inspired by her. I was like, here's an awesome girl who's just talking about technology, and I was like, I could totally do that. And so I started my blog, randomsarah.com, and I wanted to see how I could use all these social media tools to really just increase traffic to the blog. That was the main goal. So I kind of used myself like a social media experiment to see, okay, well, I want to join these sites. But it wasn't about joining every site. It wasn't about being on every community. It was about finding communities that were right for me, communities that responded to me. So I was actually a huge fan of Pounce back in the day, because Pounce had a great interactive community. I love Twitter. Like, there's I feel like everyone's still talking about Twitter. You can't avoid talking about
No.
Twitter. I don't know.
And you've also gotten into to Tumblr too.
Well, after Pounce died, I think I picked up on Tumblr, and I kind of don't know how I didn't really know about it before. I think I had seen it early in the day when it first came out, but looking at the new interface, it's a great platform.
And I have to tell you guys, this is an exclusive. We were at the Tech Set party last night, and Mr. Pete Cashmore from Mashables he actually follows Sarah Cooley's Tumblr. Isn't that awesome?
That was unreal. It was so funny. No, Pete is great. I've met him a couple times, but every time I meet him, it's amazingly flattering, and for no reason I can understand. But I use social media just for, I guess, personally and for, I guess, business, really to promote the show that I do, for what's it all about, and to just kind of connect with people. Like, I met you on TalkBox, and I started following you on Twitter. So many people this week I've met that I've been Twitter friends with for a long time, in real life for the first time. And the cool thing is, you don't feel like you're meeting them for the first time.
The relationship just kind of...
Right, because Twitter is such a natural conversation. With my family, I got my younger sister and my mother on Twitter, which it creates a really interesting dynamic, because my mom, if she needs to find me or call me or something, sometimes she'll just send out an @reply instead of like picking up the phone or even just text messaging me directly.
But do you find that you actually respond quicker to that than you would like a phone call?
So it depends. Sometimes I have Twitter turned off on my phone, so it really depends on the situation. But I think it's so funny seeing my mom and my sister interact with each other. You know, my sister will tweet that she's having a bad day at school. My mom will respond, you know, "Keep your head up, honey." And I'm just like, this is so awesome, my little social media family.
That's great.
But I think with my mom especially, she's a middle school teacher, and so through helping her understand social media has really gotten me interested in helping the educational field understand social media. Because some of the younger teachers, I've seen teachers create Ning communities for their classes, do really awesome stuff with tools that already exist, but then you have all the higher ups that are still really just afraid of the internet, and it's this fear that I don't understand, but I'd really love to be a part of breaking down those barriers in education.
That's great. Well, Sarah, I think you're bringing a lot to the internet, the
thank you.
interwebs, and we're so glad that we had you here on 100 Interviews. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your South by, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Bye.